Hey YouTube, welcome to the eLab, the channel for beginner and intermediate electronic hobbyists. And today we're going to be making the 555 IC chip timer. Okay, let's get started. Today I have a breadboard. I already have a 555 chip placed on the breadboard, as well as a momentary tact switch. So there we go. We're going to need a capacitor. We're going to need a resistor. We'll need an LED, some wire, and a ceramic capacitor. And to power it, a 9-volt battery. This is an easy project to make, but I think a powerful project because you can use in many applications. Think of all the things you can do with a timer circuit. It can use it to power something up for a limited amount of time, then shut off. It's great. If you have any ideas that you've used a 555 chip timer for, write it in the list below and we can talk about it. And so let's get started. Let's go ahead, and since I already placed the 555 chip on, what I like to do is I like to place all the positive wires on first. Now I use colored wires, and I like to keep my whites for the negative and my colored wires for the positive. You don't have to, it's just something I like to do to help for troubleshooting reasons. And also on the breadboard, you'll notice you have your positive and negative on the breadboard. And I like to feed my positive on one side and negative on the other side, again, just for troubleshooting reasons. It's a little bit easier to trace back with it that way. So with it doing that, since I put my plus and negative on one side, I have to jumper my negative so that the negative will get power to the other side. So we'll go ahead and place that wire on now. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to place number 4 and 8 pin on the chip directly to positive first. So let's go to number 4. Going to positive, and we're going to go to number 8, directly to positive. Okay, and now we're going to put the direct to negative, which is number pin 1. So I'll take a white, and I'll go directly to negative. So far you should have it look like that. You got your 4 and 8 pin going directly to positive, and you have your number 1 pin going directly to negative. Now we have our ceramic capacitor, our little ceramic capacitor here. This is a 1 reading on the capacitor, and we're going to go from the number 5 pin, which is over there, directly to our negative. Now this resistor will actually reach to it, so I don't have to use any jumper wires. So there you go, number 5 pin directly to the negative. Jumps across there. So next we're going to go our number 2 out, the 2 pin, and we're going to wire up our switch now. So we're going to take our number 2 pin out, then to one side of our switch, to our tact switch there. Then we're going to go from the other side of the tact switch, the other pin out, going to negative. So there you go. Number 2 pin coming out to one side of the switch, and then the other side of the switch out to negative. Next thing we want to do is we want to put in our resistor. Our resistor will come directly from the hot side, the positive side, and we're going to place that on the positive. And we're going to go to a spot on the board. We're going to an empty spot on the board. And now what we're going to do is place the capacitor, and we're going to go, the long leg of the capacitor is your positive, the short leg is your negative. So we want to take the long leg and go from the resistor part over to our negative. Now I'm leaving room in between the legs because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding 2 more wires in between there. So even though they're on the same circuit, so it's going from plus on the resistor, and then it's going to the plus of the capacitor, then ultimately out to the negative of the capacitor. They're touching right now, but I have them apart because we're going to be placing the number 7 wire now. I'm sorry, yeah, the number 7 pin, and we're going to go in between those wires. So we're attaching them to them. So the resistor to this number 7 wire, then to the capacitor. And we're going to do that again with this 6 pin. And we're going to go in between those. So you can see that the resistor then goes to the wire, and then ultimately to the capacitor, and then to the negative. Okay. And I think that's all our wires now. I do have a positive. Let's see. We got our 1, we got our switch, 6, 7, 4, and now we're going to put our positive power on the board. And the only wire we have left is our outgoing 3 pin. So let's place that in there. It's hard to see with all those wires on there. But this is our 3 wire coming from the 3 pin. And we're just going to place that on the board anywhere in a spare spot so that we can place our LED, which we're going to go the long leg from the wire and then the short leg to the negative. And there you go. See, I just turned on the light, and it only stays on for a second, or a couple seconds, because the size of the capacitor that I'm using. So here we go. Press the button. The LED comes on and stays on just for a couple of seconds. Now we can change that by removing this capacitor and putting in a larger capacitor like we'll do now. This is a 220 capacitor, and we're going to be putting in a 2200 capacitor. Quite a bit different. So the light's going to stay on quite a bit longer. Again, the long leg goes to the wire, and then the short leg goes to the negative on the breadboard. And then I press the button, and this LED should stay on for quite a bit longer. Hopefully you can see that on the close-up camera okay. And we'll just wait until it goes out. Any second it should be going out. Stays on quite a bit longer because the value of the capacitor is so much larger. Now you can change this. There it goes. It just went out. Now you can change this to 5 minutes, 2 hours, whatever you need for this. But it's a great starting point for a project that you're doing that needs a timing circuit in it. Easy to make, easy to do, very reliable. If you set it for 5 minutes, it really does go for 5 minutes. It's pretty neat circuit. So thanks for watching. And again, please subscribe. Make any comments down below that you would like. And come back again, and we'll see you on the eLab. Please make it to our website, which is e-labinfo.com. And on there, we have books about electronics and all the parts you possibly can need to do these projects. Thank you again for watching the eLab.